Hare Krishna. Let's read Canto 3, chapter 17, verse number 17, in continuation to yesterday's session. दिवे स्पर्शो हेमा कृता कोटिभिर्निरुद्धाकस्थो स्फुरद् अङ्गदाभुजो गम कम्पयन्तो चरणे पदे पदे कत्यासुकाचराकम् अतीतातस्थातुः. Dvi sparsho, touching the sky, Hema, golden, Krita, of their helmets, Kotibihi, with the crest, Niruddha, blocked, Kasto, the direction, Sfurat, brilliant, Angada, bracelet, Bhujau, on whose arms, Gam, the earth, Kampayanto, shaking, Charanehe, from their feet, Pade Pade, at every step, Katte, with their waist, Sukanchaya, with beautiful decorated belts, Arkam, the sun, Atitya, surpassing, Tasthatuhu, they stood. Translation. Their bodies became so tall they seemed to kiss the sky with the crest of their golden crown. They blocked the view of all directions and while walking shook the earth at every step. Their arms were adorned with brilliant bracelets and they stood as if covering the sun with their wrist, which were bound with excellent and beautiful girdles. Purport. In the demoniac way of civilization, people are interested in getting a body constructed in such a way that they walk on the street, the earth will tremble, and when they stand, it will appear that they cover the sky and the vision of the four directions. If a race appears strong in body, their country is materially considered to be the highly advanced nation of the world. Text 18th. Prajapatirnama tayor akarsid yaha parak swadehad yamayor ajayata tam vai hiranyakashipum vidum prajam yam tam hiranyaksham asuta sagrataha. Synonyms. Prati Prajapatihi Kashyapa Nama, names, Tayoho, of the two, Akarshit, gave, Yaha, who, Prak, first, Swa, Dehat, from his body, Yamyoho, of the twins, Ajata, was delivered, Tam, him, Vai, indeed, Hiranyakashipum, Hiranyakashipu, Viduhu, no, Praja, people, Yam, whom, Tam, him, Hiranyaksham, Hiranyaksha, Asuta, gave birth to, Sa, she, Diti, Agrataha, first. Translation. Prajapati Kashyapa, the creator of the living entities, gave his twins sons their names. The one who was born first, his name was Hiranyaksha, and the one who was first conceived by Diti, he named Hiranyakashipu. Purport. There is an authoritative Vedic literature called Pinda Siddhi, in which the scientific understanding of pregnancy is very nicely described. It is stated that when the male secretion enters the menstrual flux in the uterus in two successive drops, the mother develops two embryos in her womb and she brings forth twins in a reverse order to that in which they were first conceived. The child conceived first is born later, and one conceived later is brought is brought forth first. The first child conceived in the womb leaves behind the second child. So when birth takes place, the second child appears first and the first child appears second. In this case, it is understood that Hiranyaksha, the second child conceived, was delivered first, whereas Hiranyakashipu, the child who was behind him, having been conceived first, was born second. चक्रे हिरण्यकशिपुर्दुर्भयं ब्रह्मवारिणा च वशे सा पलाल लोकं स्त्रीन् अकुतो मृत्युर उदाहतः. Synonyms: chakre, made, hiranyakashipu, durbhayam, by his two arms, Brahma Varena, by the benediction of Brahma, Cha, and Vashe, under his control, Saplan, along with their protector, Lokan, the worlds, Trin, three, Akutaha, Mrityuhu, fearing death from no one, Udataha, puffed up. Translation: the elder child Hiranyakashipu was unafraid of death from anyone within the 3 words because he received a benediction from Lord Brahma. He was proud and puffed up due to this benediction and was able to bring all 3 planetary systems under his control. Purport: as will be revealed in later chapters, Hiranyakashipu underwent severe austerity and penance to satisfy Brahma and thus received a benediction of immortality. Actually, it is impossible even for Lord Brahma to give anyone the benediction of becoming immortal. But indirectly, Hiranyakashipu received the benediction that no one within this material world would be able to kill him. In other words, because he originally came from the abode of Vaikuntha, he was not to be killed by anyone within this material world. The Lord desired to appear himself to kill him. One may be proud of his material advancement in knowledge, but he cannot be immune to the 4 principles of material existence, namely birth, death, old age, and disease. It was the Lord's plan to teach people that even Hiranyakashipu, who was so powerful and strongly built, could not live more than his destined duration of life. One may become as strong and puffed up as Hiranyakashipu and bring under his control all the 3 worlds, but there is no possibility of continuing life eternally or keeping the conquered booty forever. So many emperors have ascended to power and they are now lost in oblivion. This is the history of the world. हिरण्याक्षो नुजस् तस्य प्रियः प्रीतिकरद् अन्वहं गदापाणिर्दिवं यतो युयुत्सुर्मृग्यान् रणम्. Synonyms: Hiranyaksha, Anujaha, younger brother, Tasya, his, Prayaha, beloved, Pritikrit, ready to please, Anu Aham, every day, Gada Panihi, with the club in his hand, Divam, on the higher planets, Yata, traveled, Yuyutsuhu, desirous to fight, Mrigayan, seeking, Ranam, combat. Translation: his younger brother Hiranyaksha was always ready to satisfy his elder brother by his activity. Hiranyaksha took a club on his shoulder and traveled all over the universe with a fighting spirit just to satisfy Hiranyakashipu. Purport: the demonic spirit is to train all family members to exploit the resources of this universe for personal sense gratification, whereas the godly spirit is to engage everything in the service of the Lord. Hiranyakashipu was himself very powerful, and he made his younger brother Hiranyaksha powerful to assist him in fighting with everyone and lording over material nature as long as possible. If possible, he wanted to rule the universe eternally. These are demonstrations of the spirit of demoniac living entity. तं वीक्षये तं वीक्ष्यादुहा सह जवं रणत्कञ्चननूपुरं वैजयन्त्या स्रजाजुस्तम् अंशानयस्तामहागदम्. Synonym: tam, him, vikshaya, having seen, duha, saha, difficult to control, javam, temper, ranat, tinkling, kanchana, gold, nupuram, anklets, vaijayantaya, sraja, with vaijayanti garland, justam, adorned, amsa, on his shoulder, nayasta, rested, mahagadam, a huge mace. Translation: Hiranyaksha's temper was difficult to control. He had anklets of gold tinkling about his feet. He was adorned with a gigantic garland, and he rested his huge mace on one of his shoulders. मनोवीर्यावरोच्छिक्तम् अश्रन्यम् अकुतो भयम् भीतानिलीयेरे देवश तर्कशा तष्टा इवाहयः. Manaha, virya, by mental and bodily strength, vara, by the boon, utshiktam, proud, ashranyam, not able to be checked, akutaha, bhayam, fearing no one, bhitaha, frightened, nilil yere, had hid himself, devaha, the demigod, tarkashya, garuda, tarashtaha, frightened of, iva, like, ahayam, snakes. Translation: his mental and bodily strength are as well as the boon conferred upon him had made him proud. He feared death at the hand of no one, and there was no checking him. The gods therefore were seized with fear at his very sight, and they hid himself even as a snake hid themselves for fear of Garuda. Purport: the Asuras are generally strong built as described here, and therefore their mental condition is very sound. Their power is also extraordinary. Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, having received the boon, they would not be killed by any other living entity within this universe, were almost immortal, and thus they were completely fearless. सा वै तिरोहितान् दृष्ट्वा महसा सेवनादेत्यरत् सन्द्रान् देवागणान् केक्षिभान् अपश्यान् वयानादात् वृषं. Saha, he, why, indeed, tirohitan, vanished, drishtava, having seen, mahasha, by might, sevana, his own, Daityarat, the chief of the Daityas, demons, sa Indran, along with Indra, Deva Ganaha, the demigods, Keshavan, intoxicated, Apashyan, not finding, Vayanadat, roared, Brisham, loudly. Translation: on not finding Indra and the other demigods who had previously been intoxicated with power, the chief of the Daityas, seeing that they had all vanished before his might roared loudly. Text 24. ततो निवृत्तः किरीदिष्यान् गम्भीरं भीमानिश्वनं विजगहे महासत्त्वो वृद्धिं मता इव देवीपः. Tatha, then Nivrittaha returned, Kridishyan for the sake of sport, Gambhiram deep, Bhima Niva Nishvanam making a terrible sound, Vijagahe dived, Mahasatwa the mighty being, Vardhim in the ocean, Mataha in wrath, Iha Eva like Divipaha, an elephant. After returning from the heavenly kingdom, the mighty demon, who was like an elephant in wrath, for sake of sport, dived into the deep ocean, which was roaring terribly. तस्मिन् प्रविष्टे वरुणस्य सैनिका यदो गणाः सन्नद्धियः ससाधुवसः आहान्यमानाम् अपि तस्य वर्चसा प्रदर्शित दुरात्रं प्रदुद्रुवः. Tasmin Pravishte, when he entered the ocean, Varunasya of Varuna, Sainikaha, the defenders, Yadaha, Ganaha, the aquatic animals, Sanadhiyaha, depressed, Sasadhavaha, with fear, Ahanyamanaha, not being hit, Api, even, Tasya, his, Varchasaha, by splendor, Pradharshitaha, striken, Durataram, far away, Pradudruvaha, they ran fast. Translation. On his entering the ocean, the aquatic animals who formed the host of Varuna were stricken with fear and ran far away. Thus Hiranyaksha showed his splendor without dealing above. Hablo. Purport. Materialistic demons sometimes appear to be very powerful and are seen to establish their supremacy throughout the world. Here also it appears that Hiranyaksha, by his demonic strength, actually established his supremacy throughout the universe, and the demigods were afraid of his uncommon power. Not only were the demigods in space afraid of demon Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, but also were the aquatic animals within the seas. Okay, we shall continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna. I hope you liked it, and I hope you understood how it is described that how fearful these two brothers were, and who was the elder one and who was the, like, it was explained that when a mother conceived the baby and they are twin, so the one who is conceived first is born later, and the one who is conceived later is born first. So this has happened in case of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, and now he was, because this Hiranyakashipu had a boon which he took from Lord Brahma, so he couldn't be checked by anyone else, he couldn't be killed by anyone else, and he was kind of immortal, and everybody was terrified and afraid of these two brothers. This Hiranyaksha, just to please his elder brother, he would go to heavens and he would just try to fight with the demigods, and demigods who used to be who used to be very proud of their powers, now they are running to save their lives from Hiranyaksha. And when Hiranyaksha reached heaven, he couldn't find anyone there, and then he, as a result, he just came back, and he dived deep into the ocean, and the aquatic animals who were there in the ocean, they just ran away because they were afraid of Hiranyaksha. So this is what we read, and this is how I summarized what we read today. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. If you like this video, And if you have any suggestion for me, please do comment, please do share your comments, your likes, and you can also share the video with others. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.